Haunted Pines. Welcome to Haunted Pines, true and bizarre stories, including the paranormal, true crime, extraterrestrials, monsters, and more. I'm Nomar Slevik, and tonight's story takes us back to Maine, to the town of Corinth. There, a man named Alan had an extraordinary experience. This is the summer of '92. Part 1. The night it all began. It was late summer 1992. A 32-year-old hospital worker named Alan Cassidy was driving home after his night shift in Bangor. He lived in the quiet trailer park in East Corinth, about a 20-minute drive through dark country roads and open fields. That night, he pulled into his driveway precisely at 11:22 p.m. He always remembered the time. He liked to clock his commutes, just something he did for fun. But what he saw next would change the way he looked at the sky forever. Alan told me in an interview in 2017, quote, "As I pulled into the driveway, I saw these two lights come across the field. They were maybe 100 feet in the air, bluish-white lights set far apart. I thought, that's way too low for an airplane." End quote. He got out, stood by his car, and watched the lights drift toward him. Alan continued, quote, "It came right over the field and stopped directly above me. Right over my head, less than 100 feet. I could have thrown a rock and hit it." End quote. The object was massive and dark. When discussing the incident with Alan, we recorded his interview. The following audio is what he said next.
So I'm looking up at this thing. It's barely making any noise. It's almost like a low hum that I can barely hear. I'm looking up. It's so black that I can't really see the edges of it, but I can see a light on each end and each side.
Part 2. Alone beneath the craft. Alan looked around. The trailer park was silent. No lights, no people outside. It was just him. And that's when the fear hit. Here's Alan in his own words.
As I'm looking at it, I look around the trailer park and I realize there's nobody out here. Everybody's lights are off. I'm the only one out here. And I get this all of a sudden, a feeling of terror. I thought, what if this thing kills me, zaps me, takes me? I really didn't know. So it seems funny now, but I ran up and I'm hiding behind my car looking up at it. I almost started laughing because I thought, if there's somebody up there, they obviously can see me. So I start to walk back down my driveway, and this craft starts moving down the trailer park road. Maybe 75 yards away, it stops right over the tree line again. So I'm looking at it that far away from the side, and it kind of it rotates like that and makes this really bizarre sound. I've never heard anything like it in my life. I can't even really describe it. It was almost like a whining sound and like a mechanical, gears clanking. It was just really weird, and it was really loud.
As the object turned, the lights shifted and the hum deepened. Then, without warning, it moved toward Route 15, out past Broadway, toward the main road that bordered the park. Part 3. The Chase. Alan, with unexpected bravery, hopped in his car and drove after the object. He pulled onto the main road and stopped. The craft hovered just on the other side of the street, above the trees. He shut off his engine and stepped out. Here's what he said next.
I could see it was kind of tilted, still very black, lights on the end and sides, and the whole length of it almost looked like little oval windows. I mean, there were probably 15 of them running along this, I didn't count them, and real pale yellow light inside. It's not the only way I can explain it. I didn't see any figures in the windows, anything like that, just light. As I'm looking at it, it starts to move really slow back towards Kenduskeag, south, next town. So I jump in the car again, and I'm driving along. I'm doing 60. I look down, and this thing is maybe 30, 40 yards in towards the woods, but just at tree level, matching my speed. I'm doing 60, and I can see this thing going right along with me.
The road grew dark and narrow. He followed it for a while longer until the dread crept back in. Alan said, quote, "I got this creepy feeling again. I thought, what if I come around the corner and it's on the ground?" End quote. So he stopped the car, turned around, and headed back toward home. Part 4. The Return. Halfway home, something made him glance in the rearview mirror. From our interview, Alan continued,
I stop, get out of the car, I look back. It's about a mile behind me, just kind of flying around. And I get back in the car, I drive home, I pull into my driveway. This whole thing has been about 45 minutes from when I first saw it to this point. Getting out of the car, walking, just before I went in the house, I looked, and at the end of the trailer park, it flew over the trailer park one more time, pretty fast this time, like maybe 40, 50 miles an hour if I had to guess. Right, like, and out of sight. I couldn't see where it went, but it disappeared, behind the tree line. And that was it. I sat outside that night till probably 3 a.m. and never saw it again.
Part 5. Family History. Years later, Alan began to wonder if that night was just part of something larger. Something that had been with his family for generations. He said to me, quote, "Both my parents, they're gone now, but I've read about abductions and a lot of it fits." End quote. Stephanie Kelly Romano, a professor from Bates College in Lewiston, Maine, who every other year or so teaches a course in rhetorical analysis with a focus on alien abductions. She said the following about family connections.
I have not necessarily had people report to me who are entire families in terms of being experiencers, in terms of shared experiencers. And it's interesting because when I first started doing this research, I called them multiple experiences. It was just kind of the way I was doing shorthand. But then at that point, I didn't even realize that people were abducted over the entire course of their lifetime. Like, most experiencers have multiple experiences. So in terms of a familial or a family connection, it's huge, 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 huge.
Alan shared with me a story his mother had told him. Here's what he had to say.
In the same house, living out in the country. This was Eddington back in early 60s, I guess it would have been. She often told me the story that she was outside in the yard and looked up the field. There's no houses up there, that she described it as 2 red eyeballs coming down the road. And I used to ask her all the time, "What do you, eyeballs, lights, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, maybe they were lights, but they seemed like red eyes." And I asked her many a time, "Well, what were you doing out there that time of night?" She always said, "I don't know." So she could never put that story together, but...
Years later, after Alan's own sighting, his father told him something he'd never shared before. Here it is.
He told me about a sighting he had, which I never knew about, but he said he kept his mouth shut because he just didn't want people making fun of him. He claims in Orrington, he was down there at just before dawn, waiting to go visit some friends, and he said he saw this huge craft. He said like the size of a football field. Didn't really tell me the shape, but he said it was hovering over this like abandoned building, and that he could see a red orb come down, red light, and go back up, down and up several times. And he said that he had his dog with him, German Shepherd. I remember that because I asked him, I said, well, was the dog freaking out or bark? And he said, no, he was just quiet, sitting in the seat. So he described this to me and said when he was looking at it, just about sunrise, it just shot out of sight, disappeared. And he claims that some friends of his that lived down there used to tell him that they saw UFOs all the time and that they saw entities down there. I never asked him much about that because he kind of laughed when he told me, so I don't know if he believed it, but he never talked much about his story, but he did say he believed me because that happened to him.
Part 6. The Marks. In the years after his encounter, strange things continued to happen to Alan. Things that would make him speculate that he had experienced a possible abduction. The following is what he told me.
I can't tell you how many times I used to sleep in sweats and a sweatshirt because I kept my trailer really cold, trying to save on oil, like everybody, but I would wake up in the middle of the night or early morning and my sweats would be in a ball on the floor, like on the other side of the room. And I have no memory of taking those off, I don't know, maybe I did it in my sleep, but you'd think I'd remember. I woke up one morning with like a triangle mark on my calf, like there were 2 points and another point. It looked like someone had stuck in there and punctured me in the shape of a triangle. And I finally took a picture of it a week later, and it wasn't really faded that much. And I know it wasn't there the night before. I'm positive of that. And I tried to think of every excuse I could. Maybe 3 bugs bit me in that shape, maybe really bizarre. So I don't know. It scared me. It really did scare me.
To this day, Alan isn't sure what happened to him that night in the summer of '92. He only knows that something was there, something intelligent, silent, and seemingly aware of him. He had these parting words.
I mean, it's really hard for me to accept that kind of stuff, even though I saw that. But something's happened.
Something has happened indeed. What are your thoughts? Did you see something similar to what Alan saw? Or have a similar experience? Feel free to reach out and let us know at Haunted Pines Pod on Instagram, or email us at hauntedpinespod@gmail.com. The audio from Alan's interview comes from an in-person interview that I conducted with him back in 2017. We then used that audio and the video from that interview and included it in the documentary Abducted in New England that I made with Bill Brock. A link to that documentary is in the show notes, and you can watch it for free on YouTube. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please share the Haunted Pines podcast with someone who loves true tales and the unexplained. You can find this and other strange stories in my books, Humanoid Encounters, Granite Skies, UFOs over Maine, and my latest work, In the Pines. Check the show notes for links. Until next time, always be aware of your surroundings, for the night belongs to the ghosts. I'm Nomar Slevik, and this is Haunted Pines.